Hello everybody, it's Donna here from Purple Pinky Promises. Welcome. And I have a project to share with you today. This is the Altenew Craft Your Life project kit. It's watercolor flowers. It's from December of 2022. And we have put this little kit in our store, and I just wanted to try out the embossing folder and the set of stencils in this set. There are dies and stamps that coordinate. We did use the stamps, but we did not use the dies in this project, just the embossing folder, the stencils, and the stamps. I also have this set on my Altenew stamp wheel, and I'll get back to that here in a moment. But what I'm showing you right now is that the first three stencils actually are the stencils we're going to use for this particular embossing folder. They are numbered and they are labeled. So you have an A and a B and a C, and each step is numbered 1, 2, 3. So this would be the first one in this, and you would see on the stencils, and I showed you on the stencil which one this one is. And there's a layering guide. So it is colored to show you step 1, step 2, step 3. So Altenew has done a really nice job taking the guesswork out of this. So back to the stamp wheel. My cardstock here that I'm using is actually 120 pound. And because it's been embossed, it's not sticking very well to the stamp wheel because it is such heavy cardstock, and because it was embossed and I wet it down before I embossed it. So there's a number of things that's keeping it from sticking, but as you can see here, the stencil holds it down because the stencil sticks to the mat, which is really nice, which is why I picked the stamp wheel. And here you see there's A2. That's what I'm showing you. So we just finished A1, and now we're going to A2, and there's an A3. So you just basically follow the guides. So back to the stamp wheel. So this is why I chose the stamp wheel. I chose it so that it would stick down and hold down my cardstock, kind of like holding it into place around it. Another thing I'm doing here, and you probably noticed already that I've used the Catherine I'm showing you. I didn't pay attention. I'll get back to that too. There's another boo-boo that I make. But this is the Catherine Pooler ink. These are Catherine Pooler inks. This is Flirty Fuchsia. And I am using one color for my pinks, one color for my yellows, and one color for my green. I didn't push down my stencil, so it kind of shifted there. So I'm showing you how to go very light, a little heavier, and then a little heavier. So that's how I get the three colors for this. And here I am showing you which ones we're going to use for this one. So now we're going to yellow, the yellow flowers. I did get a little bit of the pink, the Flirty Fuchsia on that flower. I would suggest that if you run the risk of getting ink on your card front, to tape off the areas that you don't want to do that on. So here we go with yellow, and it did cover it up. I didn't have any problems with covering up. This is Limoncello from Catherine Pooler Designs. This ink is. I wish I'd gone a little bit lighter to start out with, so it could have a little bit more definition with the yellows. I wasn't quite thinking with that top right flower. So this is stencil number 2. This is B2. So they are, like I showed you earlier, they are labeled on the stencil. And one more thing, that if you're going to start in one place, you could do what you need to do in that one place and then just kind of shift it a little bit. If it doesn't all line up all at once, it's fine to shift it after you get done with what you want to get done. See, I did it again. No worries. I did trim this panel down. And so now number 3, B3. And I'm just taking a look at my guide, and it's a very simple guide to follow. Really appreciate Altenew's, the way they take the hard work out of all of this. It's fantastic. So there is a little bit of hint of orangey yellow in this, so that's why it looks this way when you get the heavier ink down. So there we go. There's the yellow. Oh, and we have the centers. So I just went back and did all the centers, and honestly, I don't even think that it really matters too much which centers you use, just as long as you're getting those centers colored. You can use whichever center you want, essentially. I think I used the same centers on this one that I did on the yellows, and I could have gone and used the other one. And I am using grass skirt to get into the center of those yellow flowers. So again, to avoid getting your ink anywhere that you don't want it, you would definitely want to tape over those spots. So now we're getting into the leaves, and that is the third stencil. I did want to tell you, I don't know if you can see there, right in the middle of this stencil is a line. That line tells you that is a different set of, you want to use a different set of colors or a different set of ink strength. So they have separated which side of the stencil goes with what. It's also the A, B, C, D, and that sort of thing. The first 3 stencils in this set go with this particular embossing folder. It also goes with the stamps. And I will tell you, I didn't try it, and I really want to try it. But it seems to me that you could actually stamp that one set of flowers and then emboss it and then ink it with the stencils. I think you could. If anybody ends up getting this set and has the set and tried it, tell me if you've done that and if it works. I am curious about that. Something else, do you see that little spot that looks like it's right there by the flower? It's okay to ink those up with green. I was a little nervous about it. There are some empty spaces that you do end up filling up with green, and it ends up being just fine. It's basically kind of giving that background. It looks like you have leaves in your background. So go ahead and ink those up. They're there for a reason. Sometimes I pull them up to kind of take a look at them to see what's happening with the shadowing, the shading, and that sort of thing. Okay, so yep, here we are, taking a look to see where we need to go with the stencil. Do we need to go further down? And there it is. So you're going to stay on the side that you're working on. In other words, there's that line in the middle. Stay below the line. Whenever you're lining up, make sure you're only inking up below the line that you're working on, or above the line, whichever side you're working on. So now we're above the line. So we're going to stay above the line this time, and we're going to work on just these leaves. We aren't going to do you see I've already inked up that bottom half, so now we're lining up the top. And there are no more stencils for this, so I decided to kind of go willy-nilly and give some areas a little more ink and not really give it a solid ink color all the way around. Some of it's going to be a little light, some of it's going to be a little dark. I just kind of went here and there, gave some of it more of a solid covering and some of it not. That kind of gives it a little bit of a shadow or shading, a look of shading. It's different, and I like the way it turned out It looks good. It's pretty. Very, very pretty. You could also go back over all of this with some clear stencil paste or some shimmery stencil paste that's clear. It would be really, really pretty. All right. So now I'm taking Cummerbund and I'm going around the edges. I did ink up a piece of cardstock that I thought I wanted to put behind this, and I decided not to do it. You'll see it here in a second. I liked this a whole lot better because it kind of gave the look of the sky. It's almost like you can see the branch of flowers and the sky in the background. And I really, really liked that look. So the challenge today, yes, see, I didn't like that. I didn't want that. I liked the way it was just inked around the edges. It was just really pretty and subtle, and that's what I wanted to go for. So I did. I continued with it. One of the things that there were several challenges that I gave myself with this project. The first challenge was to use only one ink color for each of the flowers and the leaves. The other challenge was to not use any ribbon, any embellishments whatsoever. No embellishments, just the card being the focus. A simple looking card, yet with elegance. And I believe I achieved it with this set. It was really not, it didn't take me that long to get this done. It was really pretty. And I think you could really knock out a lot of these cards in a day if you needed to get a bunch of them done. And you could choose your different colors. You could use your layering with different colors if you wanted to. But I decided not to. And I think I achieved a great look with just one set of colors on each of the flowers and leaves. All right, making sure that this is really good and glued down because it is an embossing folder. So you're going to have to really get the glue on those raised areas. And so once that's down, I put this into the stamp wheel and I stamp that sentiment directly on there. The die set does come with a set of dies that cut out the sentiments, which is really, really nice. And I did actually give it a whirl. I did stamp the sentiment and die cut it, but I ended up deciding to go ahead and go with putting the sentiment directly on the card front. And I was really happy with that. I like the way the blue showed up on it. I just decided all the way around, I was really happy with the simplicity, but yet the detail of this card. It's a very lovely set. There's actually another set of florals in this set that you can use. You could layer these up. Yeah, here I am looking for my sentiment, trying to decide what to do. And like I said, I ended up just going with the direct stamping on the front. So back to what comes in this set. As you can see, there's two sets of stamps. And of course, you know, there are dies that cut out those florals all in one piece. So you could layer them up if you wanted to. And there are dies that coordinate with all of these sentiments. So it just gives you a lot of options. This set is a nice set to give you different looks, lots of options. It would make a great birthday, a set for a birthday or a Mother's Day or a thinking of you or a sympathy card if you went with some softer looks for a sympathy card. Great versatility with this set. Okay, we're just inking it up. And I did decide to stamp it twice because I really like that dark black crisp look. And that is it, folks. That is all there is to this card. I certainly appreciate you stopping by to watch this project today. I do hope that you have a blessed rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week. You guys take care. Bye-bye.